As war clouds loom large, what does life in West Asia look like? Short answer, millions are living in two different realities. In Israel, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans a retaliation, Israelis are celebrating the Jewish New Year and couples are getting married in bomb shelters. In Iran, pride has flooded the streets. Thousands are celebrating their country's bold move, while others are preempting grave consequences and queuing up for fuel. In Iraq, around 100 babies have been named Nasrallah in honor of the Hezbollah leader who was killed in Lebanon last week. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, a mass displacement crisis is underway, with around 1 million people rendered homeless within a week. Amid the constant reminders of war, West Asia grapples with love, hope, grief and fear. Here's a report.
Israel is embroiled in a multi-front conflict, and its people are in a state of suspended animation, surrounded by reminders of war. But sometimes there's a glimmer of hope. Set against the breathtaking view of Jerusalem's old city, an Israeli man proposed to his partner. Their ceremony was interrupted by Iranian rockets flying across Israeli skies.
Above us there were sirens. The sky was red. We saw fire. It was one of the scariest things. But despite the terrorizing fear, we remained strong.
On the very same night, love scored another win in Jerusalem. Under the night sky of missiles, a couple got married. They slow danced in a cramped bomb shelter.
You go with the flow. You don't let that affect your happiness. You don't let it affect, this most important moment of your life. You're like, okay, we adjust. So we will dance in the shelter. We will sign our ketubah in the shelter. We will continue with life. And
yeah, for me, no fear at all. We're in Israel. We know what's going on here, and it's just part of being here.
These are uncertain times for Israelis. As Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans a retaliation, the Jewish people mark their new year. It's called Rosh Hashanah. And this year it coincides with escalating tensions. But tens of thousands of Israelis have left their homeland and flocked to another war-torn country, Ukraine. They are in the city of Uman, about 200 kilometers south of Kyiv, on an annual pilgrimage.
It's beautiful here. Everyone should be here.
But coming to Ukraine, there is war going on here.
Who cares? There's a war in Israel. We have God. We have Hashem. That's all that matters.
Really? And
yeah.
How much really?
100%.
Last night it was big missile attack on Israel. Did you speak to your relatives?
Everyone's good because we have God. That's it. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing.
But what do you think about Iran? And
we should take them out. They've been bothering us for way too long, and we got to get rid of them.
Which brings us to Iran. How are Iranians coping with mounting tensions? On the one hand, there's pride. Yesterday, Tehran's streets were flooded with crowds. They were celebrating Iran's boldest move yet in the conflict. Some carried the yellow flags of Hezbollah, an Iranian proxy, along with portraits of its slain chief, Hassan Nasrallah.
I'm very happy that we got our revenge. We should have done it sooner.
We expected this to happen earlier so that Israel is put in its place.
But on the other hand, there's also fear. Some are worried about the consequences, afraid that the country is stumbling towards a full-blown war. So people are in preparation mode. And for some, that means queuing up to stock up on fuel, preempting future shortages. It's like living in two realities at the same time. And this isn't limited to Iran and Israel. In Iraq, 100 newborns have been named Nasrallah after the Hezbollah leader was killed in Lebanon last week. The country is still in shock. In the last week, around 1 million people have been displaced in Lebanon. More than 500 schools have been converted into shelters. Thousands of people are sleeping on the floors of classrooms. Thousands of others are sleeping in mosques, in the streets, and under bridges. Amid the war clouds and the saber rattling, millions of lives across West Asia remain on hold. The present-day scenario is a grim picture, but the future could be much worse.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.